too. And then he tells one story about he was flying training one pilot, and the pilot, they were over Fredericksburg, and the pilot got confused. Anyway, they landed in a tree upside down. And they got out, and the Fredericksburg people saw it, and they made sure they were all right. And they called all over town. They brought and had a picnic under the tree. And my father, when he was getting close to dying, he wrote a letter to the editor. Was there anybody alive? And Fredericksburg had remembered that instant, and he was just thrilled. One lady says, "I was at the picnic."
What are the chances?
And the way he married my mother Allie was the only instrument they had on their plane was a $1 watch that was where they could keep. They knew what time it'd take to run out of gas. It was a stopwatch.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And that's the way they didn't have a gas gauge.
Yeah.
And they were going to have a night flying mission. And my father was leading a squadron out there, and they got separated, and my father ended up and landed in Uvalde, where he met my mother.
That's weird.
Well, let's see though. He knew her before then. He re-met her
Oh.
because they had known her in Baylor.
Oh. Did she play an instrument like Martha did?
My mother played the piano.
Oh, okay. Did you have one in your house growing up?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did you ever sing along with it, or anything? Did she ever play?
Oh
have
yeah,
the kids sing?
yeah. We did play.
Do you remember any songs?
And all the songs I know were very common songs. Nothing special.
So she hand washed all the clothes then and hung it out to dry. Do you remember like clothes being hanging on the
Oh,
on
you
the
bet.
line?
You bet. We had a big kettle and built a fire under it, and they cooked the clothes in the kettle and then would hang them out on the line.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you a story about my Uncle Byron Pulliam. Well, it reminds me of my Uncle Byron Pulliam. But I was in Sunday school one time, and the man got up and gave a devotional about, and what he said, when I was a boy, and he said, this is a true story. I lived on a farm, and the hogs were slopped about 200 yards from the house. We had a barn, and we had these Crisco cans with the little handles on them, and when they were empty, I would take the slop out and empty it to the hogs. And he said this particular morning, I didn't know it, but my father was up in the barn loft, and it was time for me to take the slop. And said it was cold, and those things were biting in my hands. And I got there, and the pigs ran into me and got the slop all over my clothes, and I was so mad at those pigs. And he said, he looked up, and his father was laughing. He said, well, why are you laughing? He said, these hogs just don't ever appreciate, look up or appreciate anything. And his father said, "And son, that's the way the Lord is with us." We said we do all these things and we never look up and appreciate anything.
That's a good story. Did you like going to church when you were little, or was it
Oh,
very
yeah.
serious?
Oh, we always went to Sunday school and church. Back in the school too. I haven't been able to in the last few weeks because of Helen. No.
Mm-hmm.
She just can't sit up that long.
Yeah.
And there's a time or two she couldn't even walk.
Do y'all ever go out there? Do you ever go out there?
Oh yeah,
You do?
we sit out there in good weather.
Yeah,
quite
you'll
a
have
bit.
one in y'all's slide
Access?
access in your room.
Do what?
Do you have access outside in your room?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Both places.
I should take a picture of y'all out there then.
Okay.